Hello, and thank you for watching this Q&A for the Shepherdess and the 7 songs, Lela or Sadgeet. My name is Livvie, and I'm a programmer for Austin Asian American Film Festival. Now, with the great excitement, it's my pleasure to introduce the director of the film, Pushpendra Singh. Welcome, Pushpendra.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting the film.
You're very welcome. Pleasure is all ours. So, Pushpendra, it's an adapted screenplay from an author from Rajasthan. We wanted to know the genesis of the film and how it came to life. You know, how and when did you decide to make the film on it?
Initially, it was supposed to be my debut film. I'm very fascinated by writings of Vijay Dandeta, on whose story the film is based. I went and met him, and we spoke about a lot of things. He had invited me over. He said, come over and then we'll decide, And then when I told him about this story, he told me that he had given the rights to someone else. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So then I had another story in mind, and, he willingly gave me the rights to that story. And then that became my debut film. And then since then I moved on, but that original story, it had stayed with me. And then, I keep following Jammu and Kashmir, the politics there. And then, I'm also into Kabir, this Bhakti poet from Banaras. So, following the Kabir movement, which is revived in India. So there, I encountered Lal Ded, who was a mystic poetess from Kashmir. So then, it triggered me that, how Lal Ded, she was a 14th century mystic poetess. And, she used to walk naked, and she recite poetry. And the ending of the folktale also was that, that in the end, the protagonist, the woman, she discards her clothes and she walks out from the village, and it starts the rains, they start splashing the landscape. So it was written in the folktale, and then I realized, that it could be a nice adaptation set in Kashmir, and bringing in Lal Ded, and also the Kashmiri politics makes it more contemporary, because the folktale, looks like as if it's set, in some past era. Yeah. So then, it made me thinking, and then I asked one of my producers if he could, because by the time the writer had passed away, his son was there, that, if he can talk to the son and maybe they can give us the adaptation rights, yeah, and let the other maker make the original version. And he spoke, and then, he convinced him, and then he agreed. So then, that was on. So then I started working on the adaptation. I visited the landscape, and and then that's how the film came to be.
Right. But I still wanted to ask, what was special about Lalleshwari? Did you discover Lalleshwari's poems while reading a lot of Kabir, or how did that happen?
That happened, because when my interest came into Kabir, I started reading a lot of books, and then you start following the Bhakti movement from Kabir to Meera, and then you go to Akka Mahadevi in Karnataka, and similar, Gorak is there. So you start following that, and then I reached Lal Ded also, from Kashmir.
Wow.
So that's how Lalleshwari, and then I was really fascinated by her poetry also. So, and again, this thing, what fascinated me was that in 14th century also, that this Hindu Muslim conflicts were there, and at that time even Buddhist, Ladakh is a Buddhist majority place.
Uh-huh.
So, initially Hindu Buddhist was there, and then Muslims came, and so these differences were there. But there are some poetry where, she writes about, moving beyond these differences, and at this common connection, So I thought, yeah, it's very fascinating because even now in Kashmir, if you look at Kashmir, uh, apart from the separatist movement, it's also a communal problem, because Jammu is a Hindu-dominated city region, Kashmir is a Muslim-dominated region, the Valley and Ladakh is a Buddhist-dominated region, and people are like really holding on to their beliefs, their own religion. Not everyone, it's the fundamentalists, from all the sides. So, and that's also part of the problem. So, and during my research and Reiki also, I encountered that. So I thought maybe, Lallded is the solution, because Lallded talks about breaking away from all these identities. She used to roam naked, so which is like a very nice symbol of discarding all the identities.
So wow, very powerful. I must say, very powerful. All the poetries and all the 7 songs, very much relatable. So I want to jump onto your characters now and ask you about Leila. Leila is the very fierce protagonist in the film. She has a very unique and clever, basically a very clever character. How did you find your Leila? And also, while a story is adapted from the book, did you add any flavors to your characters? Even Mushtaq, like he was a smart, funny, he's kind of foolish and silly at the same time. Did you experiment with those characters?
Of course, in the writing of in the original folktale, these archetypes were there. So I just followed the archetypes and then I just brought in the regional flavor of Kashmir, And then also there are cinematic traditions also which I was following. So this whole idea of a satire, bringing in those elements. I brought all those. Coming to Leila, of course, while doing my Reiki, I realized I saw these Bakarwali women. They were like really strong, taking charge. And women, like, it's not that men and women go together. They go in separate batches, men usually go with the sheep. The women usually ride the horses with all the stuff they carry and they take charge. So, I was fascinated, I was like, okay, this is another side of women from Kashmir, and they're Muslims, and not under burqa, really powerful, active women, taking charge, working women, though marginalized, but really like working hard. So they were really fascinating to me. So, of course, I work with non-professionals, but it's very hard for women to act and work, men do work. So then I was looking for an actress, and I had met Navjot Randhawa, who had acted in a film earlier also, which I had seen. So I met her at Dharamshala Film Festival. So, and because also of the language, Gojri is closer to Punjabi also. So, and Navjot is Punjabi. So, she also was staying in Himachal in the hills. So I knew that at least she's used to this hilly lifestyle, hilly landscape, and she could pick up the language also very easily. So, and then, we cast her, and then she came, and then I encouraged her to stay with the Bakarwali women, Bakarwali household, and she really invested herself. She stayed with them, and, and then I told the Bakarwali household to make her work, so that it comes into her body language. Correct. And so all
that's how you discovered
her actually, all kudos to her also.
So since you mentioned about the culture, and I just wanted to ask, because I was wondering while I watched the film, sleeping on separate beds for husband and wife, is that a part of culture there too?
Oh, it's part of culture in India everywhere. You go to rural regions, even in my village, I've grown up in a village. I've seen my parents sleeping on different beds.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to ask this. I was like, is that something you
bed. It's there everywhere. You go to villages in Maharashtra, and now I'm in Pune. Yeah, you find it there. You go to south in villages. Of course, the urban landscape is different. So
Right, right.
yeah,
I mean, I was
there.
just thinking, not even like joining the beds, even if it's like two separate beds, but it was
Oh
so
yeah, yeah, very much, very much. Yeah, yeah.
okay, okay. Um, Pushpin, the film is a pure cinematic joy, shot in the Himalayas. Very beautiful direction, of course. Why did you choose to move this story from Rajasthan backdrop to Jammu Kashmir's backdrop? What was your
Uh,
reason?
One, of course, I wanted to make it very contemporary. Yeah, because in the folk tale, as I told, it looks like uh, from the past era. And then also, I was intrigued by Kashmir, the Kashmiri politics.
Mhm.
And then, I've set it up in this community, Gujar Bakarwals. And I'm also Gujar, but we are Hindus in this part of the area, in which the folktale was also set. But in Kashmir, they are Muslims and they are part of the tribes. They have a tribe status. So I was following their politics, their history also. And then what I realized was that Gujar Bakarwals are really marginalized in the state. Yeah, uh, they stay in the lower regions in the state, and they're nomadic tribe. Yeah, so on the onset of the summer, they migrate. They go to the upper valley. Yeah, where it's the Kashmiris are there, and the Kashmiris actually treat them like Dalits. How Dalits are treated in the main part of India. And when they come down, because they are Muslims in the Jammu region, they are looked with suspicion. Yeah, and Indian security forces also don't trust them. So then I realized, that their struggle is really hard. They are like sandwiched between all these forces. Uh, so then, the adaptation was really coming well, because in the adaptation, it was like a feudal lord, a Thakur, and his middleman who tried to exploit this newlywed, women who comes to the village. So, yeah. So then, like I thought maybe, I could bring in those parts of, because they live in the forest, a security guard becomes a middleman. The police and the security forces become the new feudal lord, who try to exploit them. So, and of course, uh, the security forces represent the Indian state, and the forest guard, who is a Kashmiri, he represents the Kashmiri state politics. Yeah, and so the adaptation was really going well. So the state politicians who are like the middlemen.
Right.
So yeah, so the adaptation was
Did
really
you
good.
get into trouble while shooting?
No, because what I did was, I took the Bakarwals into confidence, and they were really helping me. So, of course, during the migration schedule and while traveling up, we had difficulties because there's lots of checking, uh, and but we got permission for the film to shoot it as a documentary, and so that really helped us. And of course, in the first schedule, we could not go to the upper valley because there were really protests was going on against article. People were guessing that Article 35A would be removed. So protests were on, and the police did not allow us to go up. So then we had to shoot, just below Jawahar Tunnel. So yeah, that was the area where we shot.
So that's how you include that little bit dialogues between Mushtaq and the senior officer about Article 35. Is that how you included, or it was already in your mind to include about, like, little mention about 35 article?
Yeah, it was not originally there in the script, but when I was there in the space, usually I do that. When I travel, if there's something contemporary which comes up, I try to bring that in the film. So that's how I brought that all in the film.
Very nicely done. Very nicely.
Yeah.
It was very brief mention, but then it totally took our attention. For a minute, we were thinking about it.
Yeah.
Tell me, did the Gujar Bakarwal community, the tribe who you studied and researched about, did they know about that you are going to make film on them?
Of course, yes. I was very honest with them. They've acted in the film. The husband, he's a Bakarwali singer. So he's a Bakarwal, who plays the husband. And then his uncle is a Bakarwal. He's a school teacher there, and his whole family is there. They also migrate. So they're all there in the film. And the police station scene is there where, I told him to bring community members, and it was like a free improvisation, which they did. So they were part of the story. They were there.
Even Tanveer's mom or Tanveer's dadi, like
Tanveer's mom. Yes. I wanted an authentic face because on Migrant I saw this. So initially, because I thought maybe no one will act, so I went to Jammu theatre scene, and in Jammu theatre I saw women, but the faces were not so authentic, and I thought it will look so stereotypical like a Bombay film. So then I told Yasin Bhai, who plays the uncle, that I want an authentic face. So and then he said, yeah, we'll find. And then one day, while my Reiki, I was climbing this mountain, and then this Bakarwals, they stay on a mountain. Someone is staying like downhill. Then you go up on middle of the mountain. Someone stays, and then you go further top. So I visited one place, then second place, then I went to the third place, like much higher, and I was really tired. And then I saw this old woman sitting there. So and then I said, I want her actually.
And she looked very genuine, very authentic.
And she was not from the space. She was visiting her daughter. And then I told Yasin Bhai, I want her. And she said, okay, we won't let her go until you finish your shoot. And then it was really funny. One guy would, bring her, on his back, and then place her there. And then, so.
Nice. So the best part in the film was Climax to me. It's kind of blew my mind because I didn't expect it. Was there any difficulties or doubts about shooting that part, like the climax?
Oh yeah, of course, very much. Because initially we didn't want to shoot it in Kashmir because we thought we'll land in trouble. So, we thought we'll shoot in Himachal. Yeah. But then, by the end of the shoot, our budget was off. We were falling short of budget. And, I was like really worried how to pay people. And Navjot stays in Himachal. So she had found a place which was safer. We had to trek half a day. But, we would have, because I really wanted the snowy peaks also. Yeah. So, hats off to Navjot. She's such a brave actress,
Definitely.
And she was seeing that, the troubles with finance, etc. And then she told me, 2 days before, and she said, let's not go there, let's find a place here and we can shoot it here. So while one of my research trips, I had seen one place where, which was like inside, and Bakarwals were like resting there inside, like across the road, and you had to go like little away. So then I thought, okay, but then I really wanted like real snow. So, you have to go to the valley itself. So we went, and the army did not allow us. They said, no, there might be an avalanche, and then avalanche. Yeah, so we can't. So I tried to do this Herzog trick, like this fake papers. I said, I have permissions, like I've made CC, but they said, no, if we allow you, something happens, our, job is we can't allow. So then we came back, we drove down, and then I saw this space, and then I said, let's trek inside a little bit and see. And then we found some little snow there. So then, and it was safe also. So we parked the car on the road. And then I told the driver, if someone comes, say there are these tourists, they're just photo shooting something.
Right.
So yeah, he said military police passed by 2-3 times. And then, so the number of the car, I had a car from my village. So the number was from UP. So, and then they asked, so he said, no, there's some photographing something. We've come from Agra. So, they did not suspect anything. And then, we managed to shoot.
Wow. Beautifully done. Very beautifully shot. So the film is a mix of quite a few thought-provoking elements, from the 40th century poetry to modern day politics. You've included a lot of it, like, for example, Article 35 and little bit politics here and there, Jammu Kashmir's like current situation, plus also the struggles of Gujar Bakarwal community. Those are marginalized people. So, but to you, what's the most important aspect of it? What do you want? Uh, basically, what do you think audience should, kind of think about, or the message should go out to the audience?
Oh, I think audiences are smart enough to get all the messages, you know. So as a filmmaker, like I don't try to guide them towards one direction. It's like when you read a novel, you don't ask the novelist, like what is he trying to say as a reader.
Right.
You're fascinated and you try to find it for yourself. So similarly for me, I see film as not a simplistic matter. It's like a complex storytelling tool. It has like a lot of elements which you can use as an artist, as a filmmaker, as a film practitioner. So I've done that using visual story elements, using narrative story elements, using the contemporary politics of it. Uh, so everything is there, and I'm sure they'll be able to see that. Yeah, and sometimes it's very surprising. They see much better than what you've envisioned.
Exactly. I was going to ask, is Layla a symbol of anything to you? Like, do you want to explain, or do you want to leave it to the audience that they watch and they decide what is Layla? Or,
Yeah.
it's between you.
Yeah, of course, it's for them to discover. Yeah, it's for them to discover. But of course, it's a contemporary story reflecting on contemporary times, and also maybe it has universal themes which everyone can reflect upon.
Right. Nice. So you've been full of ideas by now in the lockdown. During pandemic, are you working on something? What is it?
Yes, very much. Of course, the tragedy is so much that I'm not being able to write because every day, because I really follow contemporary politics a lot, so it has really affected me in that sense. But of course, I'm I want to do a Kashmir trilogy where I discovered a writer long back. He's from Lucknow. He writes in Urdu, but his English translations are available. Called Nayyar Masood. So I like him a lot. So I want to adapt his stories this time and do the Kashmir trilogy. So like 2 more films set in Kashmir. So
okay. So one more writer, you're going to transport it to the Jammu Kashmir setting. Is that
yes, exactly. Yes, and make them more contemporary stories.
Well, good luck with that, Pushpen. Thank you for making such an exceptional film. We look forward to your next project. Good luck, and thank you once again. And congratulations on winning awards at Hong Kong and South Korean Film Festival for this film.
Thank you very much. Yes. And thank you once again for inviting the film. And in the end, I just like to say one thing, that the film has got a US distribution. So it will get theatrical release. Museum of Modern Art has already confirmed early January next year. So hopefully we'll get some art house bookings and the film can be seen. So I'll request the festival and the audience to follow the film's page on social media. So you'll get the updates, and please share and pass the word around when the film gets it.
Definitely, Pushpen, such a good news. Congratulations on that too. We'll definitely spread the word. And good luck to you, and have a good night. I think it's night in India.
Yeah. Thank you.